You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 a.m. The station that leaves no listener behind.
From the Past Pleasures Car Show here in Yucaipa, and then we have his grandson, Caden. Caden, he's here. He's really into like technology and all that stuff, so he wanted to come in and see how we operate shows and everything like that. So I'm glad you guys are here.
Shout out to them.
Yes, I hope you guys enjoy the show. It's been a crazy week this past week, man. Me and Kyle, we don't see each other until the show. It's very rare when we meet up, and go out and stuff. But Ken, I'm glad you're back, dude.
Yeah, it's good to be out of the hospital.
Yeah, not a lot of people know what happened or where you've been, but a lot of people knew you were missing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he's a little MIA from the studio for a while.
But before we start talking about what's going on this week and what's going on with you, Ken,
it's that time.
You know what time it is.
Shout out to snjradio.com. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music.
Yes, sir. I like it short and sweet. If you guys want to be a sponsors on our show, you guys can email us at KCAA whateverworks at gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
And if you guys want to support us, it's free. Just follow us on Instagram. Again, KCAA whateverworks, and you'll be there.
All our links are on our website, kcaawhateverworks.com.
Yes. So we got a couple people lined up for the next couple weeks. I'm actually really excited. This show is all about supporting the community and helping each other and getting our ideas out there. So we're going to talk about that a little later in the show. But tonight, it's about us, right?
About us.
Yeah. So Ken, how are you feeling?
I'm just a little weak. Got a brace on both my legs now, so hard to walk. I walk like Frankenstein.
Yeah. Got a little pimp walk,
Yeah,
a
little
little to the left, a little to the right.
Yeah.
Would you care to share like what happened? Like where have you been?
What has it been? 3 weeks?
It's been about a month.
A month already? Wow.
It's been a month.
A month ago, I woke up, couldn't talk, couldn't move my right side, had a stroke in my sleep. Kyle was at work. I was all just confused. So I called my best friend, who was a doctor. He came over and he said, "No, we're taking you to the hospital." So then I was on a vent for about a week. Then off the vent for about a week. Bunch of drugs. Feeling good.
Like I should.
Like I should. And then I ended up in Upland Rehab.
Upland.
Give a shout out to them. They did a really good job with me.
Why did they transfer you to Upland?
It was the closest one that Kaiser had that could take a vent.
Okay.
And take a trach because of my
Right.
trach.
Okay.
So I was supposed to be there for 2 months. And they said, I said, what can I do to get out of here?
You didn't like the people in there or what?
No, I just don't. I want to be home.
It was the food, wasn't it?
Food was really there.
Oh, yeah?
Gourmet stuff.
No kidding.
Real plates, real silverware.
Okay. Hot food, huh?
Well, time you get it semi-hot.
Right.
I joked around. The food was cold and the milk was hot.
Okay.
But it was good. They said if I walk from my bed to the nurse's station, I can go home. So it took me 2 weeks.
Took you 2 weeks.
To get that far. They worked me out 6 days a week, hour and a half each day, my legs, arms. I had to learn how to speak again a little bit.
Really?
Because my whole right side of my face was drooping.
Oh, no.
Yeah, my tongue wasn't working right.
Yeah. Are you back up to, let's say, 80%, 88%?
Most of me. My legs probably at 50, 40, 50%.
No, it's both your legs or just the right side?
No, both of them now. Because I had 2 strokes on my left side. This one was on my right side this time.
When did you have your first stroke?
2002.
Oh, wow. So it's been a while.
2-2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, of 02. Yeah, that was my first one. Next one was 10 years after that.
Yeah, I was I think I was a freshman when it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first one, he was about 6.
Yeah, I was 6.
Dang.
So it was rough. And that was a big one. I mean, I couldn't move. Woke up I was in a coma for 9 months.
Really?
Yeah, woke up. They're reading my last rites, getting ready to pull the plug. And I woke up.
No kidding.
Yeah, my family was all around me, the priest, giving my last rites. Freaked out. They had to put me back under.
They're like, whoa, 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 he's awake.
I was freaking out.
That's
So
crazy.
then it took me 8 months of rehab,
Yeah.
and I went home in a wheelchair. Told me I'd never walk again,
Really?
and here I am walking. So
That's awesome.
I tell people, don't give up.
Yeah.
No matter how bad you are in the hospital, how you feel, it's not in our hands. It's all in God's hands.
Right. So as long as you keep a positive attitude, right?
That's it. Keep a positive attitude.
Yeah. I was telling Kyle today, one of our guests that were supposed to come in today a couple years ago, we both know him. He got in a motorcycle accident, and he was paralyzed from the waist down. And I want to say the doctor said he wasn't going to, like, get up on his feet again. But he's been posting of him standing and, like, you know, kind of wobbling around a little bit, you know. And it's just like it's good to hear that doctors are wrong sometimes when it comes to that stuff, you know.
They don't know. It's all guess. You know, but my case, 9 months in a coma, it was chances of me ever doing anything was very slim, very slim.
So when you're in your coma, do you dream at all?
No, I don't remember anything. Well, that's not true. At the end, I don't know, it was the big light on the ceiling, but I remember a bright light. And I remember a voice saying, wake up, you know. And I woke up
Just like that, huh?
just like that.
That's awesome. And how did you feel waking up? Were you like fatigued or were you fresh because you had so much sleep?
I
or-
was freaking out.
really.
I couldn't talk at all. Couldn't move from my neck down. I could just move my head side to side and blink.
No kidding.
So about 6.5 months of learning how to use my hand, learning how to eat. I couldn't swallow. You know, I was just like a little baby. So I had to learn everything over again. And then I learned how to write a little bit. And I had a dry board. And I'd write words on.
Like a chalkboard?
Yeah, but it's called a dry board. It's uses a marker that you can clean off.
Yeah, it's those markers that we grew up with in school. Those.
Like expo markers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, expo markers. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I know those.
Yeah.
So when you had your first stroke, were you ever maybe on the back of your mind worried that you would have another one, or
Yes.
does that fear go away at
No.
any point?
Never. Anytime I get a little bit of chest pain,
Your anxiety starts kicking in.
Yeah.
Your adrenaline, you're like, oh shit.
even when I change my trach and I see that hole, to this day I freak out.
Really?
You know, I see a big hole in my neck. I go, wow. You know.
Yeah. When I was in the hospital when I was 16, when I got diagnosed with blood clots, it was hard for me to walk, and I couldn't get up out of my bed for 2 weeks. And then they're like, okay, I need you to get up and walk around because we don't want you getting any more blood clots again, like building them up. And I remember like taking like baby steps. You know, I wasn't weak, but I was stiff. You know, because my body wasn't moved at all. So, like it was hard for me. But like knowing that I had blood clots, the doctors were like, hey, you're more acceptable to like having a stroke or anything like that. And for years on the back of my mind, 24/7, that's all I thought about. I was like, okay, when is this going to happen? Or like, how is this going to happen? And then when I was working as a server at Corky's, you know, I would see people walk in that had strokes. And it was sad to see, you know, because some of them, they don't recover as good as you do, you know? And that was like one of my biggest fears in life.
Yeah.
But now it's been like 7 years, and now it's not even a thought, you know. I don't want to have it become a thought,
Right.
you know. And one time it was actually funny. I was going up north to pick up my cousin. I had to drive like 4 or 5 hours, and like I never experienced a stroke or anything like that. But I was going up this road, and there was all these trees perfectly lined up on the left of me, and the sun was setting, but it was just in the right angle. So when I was driving, it was just like black and white, black and white, black and white. Like I was just hitting the shade, hitting the sun, and I was like freaking out. I was like, "This is it! Like this is how it's gonna happen!" Like so I like slowed down my car, and then I started to see the flashes like slow down, and then I just look and I just see the trees. It was just the light going through the trees. I was like, scared me, you know. Like I don't know what to expect, you know. So it was scary at that moment. But you know, the people who stay positive in life usually live a good life. You know.
Yeah, you got to stay positive, and I do my exercises every day in bed, and I do my.
What do they have you do? Like.
It's more stretching.
Okay.
Bring my legs up and down, my arms back and forth. You know, I still can't lift my arm higher than that. You know, I can't close my right hand all the way, but it's just going to take time.
Right.
And you can't see a lot of people when I was in the rehab, they kind of gave up, I would say. They didn't want to exercise. They didn't want to get out of bed, take a shower.
They were depressed.
They were just they gave up. You know. And I see it. I've seen it all the time. I've been in and out of rehab many, many times for different problems. And I said, I'm not going to be that way. If it's my shower day, get me up. I don't want to stink up the neighborhood. You know?
Yeah.
Get me changed. Get me out of bed. And then I never refused. I had some days that I was just so sore that I did not want to get out of bed to get my rehab. I was just in so much pain because all my muscles were just all tight.
Just achy, huh?
Achy and tight. But I just forced myself. No, I'm going to get up. And I just told him, we got to take it easy today. I'm not feeling good. Well, we don't have to do anything. I says, no, we're going to do something. Whether it's just that they got this bike that's on a table for my arms, and then they got the bike for my legs that's electric.
Oh, nice.
To start you off with. And once you can do that to a certain speed and a certain time, they put you on a stationary bike that's low to the ground, and it's got the handles too to move your arms and legs.
Cool. Is it a big facility?
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's two-story.
Yeah.
But it's in the middle of nowhere. When they take me over there from the hospital, I go, where are we going? In the middle of the ghettos.
Like they don't want people from rehab running off.
That was a joke of the day. They go, oh, watch Ken. Once he starts walking, he's going to head for that door.
Yeah.
He's going to make an escape.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Kyle, have you experienced any like traumatic trauma or like anything physical to where, you know, you had thoughts about, like, you start reflecting yourself in life?
You know what? I've actually never really been that way.
Really?
Yeah. You know, I've always been a believer of God, and that's just me. You know, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. But you know, I've been in car accidents. I've been in the hospital. I was in a really bad car accident in 2019 in December where my car rolled several times. And you know, I was just like, you know, God's got me. And so I've never really been scared of what's going to happen next, you know, because I know the Lord's on my side. And, you know, I've never really been scared of death either. And so I just take things day by day and run with it.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, you know this, maybe some of the listeners do. So my brother's a machine gunner in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And he said that one of his sergeants, like, before they go out to deployment, like, not really to motivate them, but to, like, let the people know it's, like, a lot of them are Christians, right?
Right.
And he goes, look, a lot of people, you know, they believe in God, they want to go to heaven, but not everyone wants to die, you know?
Yeah.
And that was kind of, like, their way of saying, like, you know, if you love God, if you know God, and you know you're going to heaven, then you shouldn't be afraid of death.
Right.
You know, and it kind of like motivates the Marines to like go out there and do their job, you know, and that's kind of something that I think about too as well. But what I find interesting when we had Nicholas on our show last week when he went out to Ukraine, and he said everyone was just living their lives so normal, and like there was like laughter and like smiling, even though it was like a time of war, you know, like everyone had like that Anne Frank like mentality, you know, and I think that's really huge during like anything.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, and I told someone this last night, so like I know when I'm going through something, like when I'm depressed, because there's three signs. A, I have bad hygiene, like I don't shower, you know, like not that I don't shower, but I haven't, you know, whatever. And then also if I don't clean myself up, so if I'm just not shaving, keeping myself up, or if I'm watching a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
When I realized, I'm like, dude, I've been watching comedy all day. this past week I've just been listening to comedy. Like, why is that? You know, and it's like my body's trying to keep me in high spirits, you know, keep me laughing, keep me going. But the hardest thing is to realize, okay, what's causing me to feel this way, you know? And when I realize that, I'm already in it, you know, because then I have to see my patterns in life, you know? And so the hardest thing for that is just to keep your spirits up day by day.
Yeah.
I want to fund the press because I like comedy before I go to sleep.
Really?
It relaxes me. It makes me laugh, and
Yeah.
I'm nice and relaxed, and I go to sleep.
You know what I used to watch before I go to sleep?
What?
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross.
When he's painting, bro.
That's a lot of serotonin.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm not the only one. He during an interview he said that people actually came up to him. They're like, "Hey, I watch your videos so I can go to sleep," and he's like, "That's fine. I'm glad you watch my show." You know.
Yeah,
and it's
he's
just
awesome.
like Bob Ross is pretty cool, dude. Like his paintings. By the way, they did a video, and all his paintings are not random. They put all his paintings in an order to where it's like you're actually traveling through like a forest into the mountains, and it's all one piece. But like people just think it's just another painting of nature, but it all connects to like you going through an adventure. It's really cool.
That's
Wow, I
pretty
didn't know
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bob Ross is
I tried to watch him and paint, and mine's is more like Picasso.
So have you tried painting with him? Like
Yeah,
so,
I did.
Yeah. The only thing I know how to do learning from Bob Ross is trees.
Oh, trees. Yeah.
You just like pat.
I just thought trees were so hard.
Because it's what's crazy to me is, and I'm sure this is with like most things, it's like things look so complex.
Yeah.
Right. Like how detailed is that? Like you can't, like if you gave me a pen and paper, I'm gonna try to draw each little leaf or each branch, but really it's just the brush making those patterns and stuff like that, you know. And not even with just painting, but with like a lot of things in life. Like my brothers, they replumbed my mom's house, like underneath, and they're like, dude, once you actually understand the concept and figure it out, it's so much easier than you think.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at stuff, things look so complex, but when you actually get down to it, it's pretty easy to understand.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to take that ability to everything that I do, but you know, when you first learn something, it's kind of confusing. You know,
Right,
once
yeah.
you get it down. Same thing with like languages. Like I'm trying to learn Spanish. I'm on Duolingo, 170-day streak. You know, and it's like if you just try to learn each word as you go, it's gonna be tough. But if you like understand the principles and the laws of it, you know,
Yeah.
then
you get it.
it's easier. You get it down. You know?
Especially if you start talking to people too.
Yeah, and that's something. And you know, it's funny. Even though I'm learning Spanish on Duolingo, I don't apply it to like real life. Like disculpe means like excuse me. And when I'm at getting like food at a store or whatever, like I don't want to. I want to speak Spanish to these people, but at the same time, I feel like I'm not saying it right, or I'm not saying the right words. You know?
That's the best way to learn, though.
Yeah.
Is like getting checked by people from this country.
That's so
It
embarrassing.
is.
They look at you like,
No,
what?
it is.
Well, it's
Yeah.
harder for me because I'm from back east, so I park the car in the yard and go potty. So if I try to speak Spanish like that, it's not going to come out right. I can't roll my eyes.
Yeah,
and-
it's gonna be like Boston Spanish.
Yeah.
A Boston Spanish
Yeah.
lingo. That's funny. If you guys were able, because like what I want to do is like learn Spanish and then go maybe to like Mexico and like live that, not live but experience that lifestyle. What country would you guys? What language would you want to learn?
I would probably have to say Canadian French. That's where my family's from.
Interesting. Okay.
My great grandfather.
So you would want to go to like Canada?
Yeah, check it out. I mean, I've been up there, a few times back east, but I never really traveled the whole country, just the East Coast,
Oh, okay.
Prince Edward Island, and where I had relatives.
Nice.
But yeah, I think Canada.
What about you, Kyle?
There's a couple.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is like Russian one of them, or
No. So one of them's Chinese.
you want? Okay, it's like
and-
Mandarin.
Yeah, Mandarin, because it's the most spoken language in the world, besides English. And I think if I wanted to get into business more, I think Chinese would be probably the way to go.
You know what's interesting? You know how stereotypical people say like Asian people are really good at music,
Yeah.
right? And one of the theories on that is because of their language.
Yeah.
Like to us, it sounds like the same sound, you know, but to them, like it's very distinctive.
Yeah.
So when it comes to notes and music, they can tell the difference in each note.
Yeah.
So they say because of their language, they're good at music.
Yeah.
And there's other languages that have other countries are good at other things as well. You know, but that one really caught my eye. I get that because the morning show with Dr. Marissa, she's Chinese.
Yeah.
And she would try to teach me some like Chinese words and stuff. And like shishia is like thank you. But like shisha is like something totally different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And it's like, I didn't catch that at first, you know?
Yeah.
But then I understand that when it comes to music because then like if you try to copy a song, like you're playing piano and you're just going back and listening to the song, like how I usually try to teach myself,
Yeah.
like it's hard to find those notes, you know, unless you distinctively understand what each note actually makes, you know, the sound.
Well, like, so we speak through communication, and they speak through art. Like, if you learn like older Chinese or look at older Chinese manuscripts, when you're supposed to read it, it's supposed to tell a story, and you're supposed to visualize it. Whereas, like, when we communicate or we write words on a paper, is to communicate to another person. Whereas they want to put you there at that instant, you know, like if it's raining, they want you to feel that rain, like when you talk and when you speak, and that's why it's a lot harder to learn.
Wow.
And so that's why, like, the same word, you can say it like 5 different times, and that's 5 different paintings. To, like, you know. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. I didn't know that. That's cool. You know how like the ancient Egyptians had like hieroglyphs?
Yeah, this is the same way.
You know we're starting to get hieroglyphs because everyone's using emojis now.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and I started laughing.
Yeah.
My brother told me that. I was like, dude, you're absolutely right. You know, someone made they did the Prince of Bel-Air intro song all through just emojis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was like, he's like, all right, try to understand what this is saying. And then I was like looking at it, and I was like, what? This doesn't make any sense. And then they played the song, and I was looking at the emojis. I was like, okay, now it makes sense. you
Yeah.
know? But speaking of like traveling and stuff, so you know how every day has a like, it's National Pie Day, da da da. Like every day has a holiday within. So March 1st was plan your own like solo vacation.
Okay.
Right. And
Just plan it?
yeah, just plan it. You don't have to do it, but plan it first, you know? And so I took a picture of it and I posted on social media, and then I was like, any ideas? And like people started like shooting me ideas, this and this. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, okay, my sister, she probably gave me the best idea. Either go to like Catalina or like the Channel Islands in Santa Barbara.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I looked up Santa Barbara, and unfortunately everything is closed due to like weather damage and stuff, like for the Channel Islands itself, you know. But I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna save up money. I'm gonna go on my own little solo vacation.
Yeah.
You know, and it's good because when you go on vacation with family, you know, there's a lot to attend to. There's a lot of things that everyone wants to do and like conversations you're having. But when you go on vacation by yourself, that's a lot of like self-reflection.
Yeah.
You know, you're not talking to anybody. It's just you. So then you're really thinking like, okay, what am I doing in life? What have I done? What do I regret? What do I not regret? You know, what do I want to do? And I think having a solo vacation is not necessarily important, but it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, so the Channel Islands for me is where I'm going.
Yeah, I did that when I got divorced to my first wife. I took a trip to the Hawaiian Islands.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I spent a month over there.
No kidding.
Yeah,
That's more than a vacation.
Yeah,
dude.
well,
It's a staycation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every week I call my boss, says, I'm going to be another week. He said, oh, okay. I call him next week. I'm going to be another week. Oh, he says, you got to come back. And I call him the next week.
One more week.
I need one more week. He said, well, if you don't come back next week, you don't have a, he was joking, but you don't have a job.
Yeah.
I got offered a job over there
In Hawaii?
in Kauai.
Oh, okay, cool. What was the job?
Construction.
Nice.
Yeah, but I didn't take it because my kids, you know.
That's funny. Yeah, someone recommended going to Hawaii for my solo vacation. I was like, I don't think Hawaii is like a
No.
really, yeah, you know what I mean? Like you want to bring someone, like especially because it's a trip, you know.
It
Like you
is,
want
yeah.
someone to go with you that's like special, whatever, to go out there.
Not necessarily, but Hawaii is just too big. Kauai's more tropical. You can get off the beaten path. I mean, I went down this one road. I rented a car. It was a dirt road between sugar canes. There was no sign that says private. I just went down this dirt road, ended up on this beach. Nobody was on this beach.
Really, you found yourself a little private
Yeah.
section, huh?
And then I made a bonfire, and I just slept on the beach for 2 days.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was great. And then I went down this river, and I says, "Hey, can you let me off here?" Yeah. He says, "How you going to get back?" I says, "I'll figure it out." You know, I seen boats coming up and down. So I spent a day in a cave, just contemplating, eating bananas and coconuts and
Really.
just thinking about life. And then when I was done, walked back to the river and flagged the boat down. They took me back to the main spot.
Really.
Yeah, it was great.
With me, I went on a vacation. I went to Disney World for 9 days.
Yeah.
Okay. That was too long for me. 9 days was just absolutely like I was done with it by like day 6. You know?
Yeah.
And it's just because I know when I come back I have so much stuff to do. And then I just kept thinking about everything back home. I'm like,
Right,
oh man,
yeah.
I gotta catch up. I gotta do this.
I was the opposite.
Yeah.
The only thing I thought about was my kids. I didn't think about work. I didn't care about anything. You know. And then I took a cruise on my second divorce. I went with some friends though, but we took a cruise to the Bahamas, 14-day cruise over Christmas and New Year's.
That must have been awesome.
Those were my drinking days. Good thing I took pictures.
Was it a booze cruise?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but the expensive one. It was a high-class cruise. You had to wear a tux to eat in a
Eat in the restaurant. There's a dress
not a
code.
restaurant. It was a it's not really a restaurant. It's a dining room, giant dining room. Or you can eat in your room and order anything, anytime, 24/7. If you want lobster at 2 o'clock in the morning, call them up, get a lobster.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was great. All the food you can eat, 24/7.
But did you even eat that much food, or did you spend most of the days drinking?
I don't remember. No,
I think that answers the question.
no, it was great. I went to a bunch of islands. And then there was a hurricane coming, so we couldn't go to the last island. We had to go around 2 other islands to get out of the storm, but we still hit the storm. So the boat was a-rocking. And usually when you're on a big ship, you don't feel nothing on a big cruise. It don't. You sleep, it's just peace and quiet.
Really?
Yeah, it was great. And then the islands I didn't go on the normal tours. I got a cab. I said, hey, I want to go off the beaten path. I want to know the island. I want to know the people.
Yeah.
So they took me up in the mountains to these little shacks, barroom shacks, you know, no electricity. And they just had beer and coolers, you know, ice. You know, go to waterfalls and throw money, and the little kids would jump in and get the money.
Yeah.
Really?
It was just an unbelievable experience.
That's awesome. I like that. Have you experienced anything? Have you been on a cruise or anything?
I have been on a cruise.
See, neither have I, but we're gonna go on one soon. That's definitely one thing on my bucket list. All right, you guys. It is 30 minutes past 7. We're gonna be taking a quick 5-minute break, but when we come back, we're gonna be keep chopping it up with Kyle and his dad.
Yeah.
I'm Sam Works,
Kyle Kerrigan.
And I'm Ken Carrigan.
and you guys are listening to Whatever Works. We'll be right back in 5 minutes.
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Day. By looking at fossilized dinosaur nests, scientists have determined that most dinosaur babies needed to be nurtured by their parents, like modern birds. However, a new discovery points to a different upbringing for some of the biggest dino species. Recently, paleontologists discovered the fossil of a baby titanosaur from Madagascar. As an adult, this species could grow to 50 feet long, yet their eggs were smaller than soccer balls, and their hatchlings weighed just 7 pounds. How did they get from the size of a human baby to bigger than a city bus? While the infants of many species look very different from adults, this fossil baby was almost a perfect copy. The scientists used CT scans to look inside its bones and discovered patterns of very rapid growth, showing that since hatching it had added 10 times its weight in a matter of weeks. A study of its joints then showed it would have been much more agile than its lumbering parents. Taken together, its adult-like proportions, rapid growth, and athleticism suggest that this little sauropod, unlike humans, would have had to fend for itself right after hatching, like many modern lizards. Its ability to find large quantities of food to be able to grow that quickly must have been key to its success. Scientists still don't know much about the parenting habits of dinosaurs, but this tiny titan is shedding new light. I'm Scott Tinker, and this has been Earth Date.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com, or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com.
Come to Hooters, where there's no such thing as a party of one. Located with the 60 and the 215 meet in Riverside, near Merino Valley. For more info, Google Hooters Riverside.
There's only one thing you think of when you think of Hooters. Wings.
Wait, what?
With more styles, better flavors, and fresher wings, you could only be in the original American wing joint. Get them smoked, bacon-wrapped, original style, and now introducing new roasted wings. Roasted crispy to seal in the flavor and seal out half the calories. One taste and you'll think of nothing else.
We'll see about that.
Come to Hooters, where there's no such thing as a party of one. Located with the 60 and the 215 meet in Riverside, near Merino Valley. For more info, Google Hooters Riverside.
There's only one thing you think of when you think of Hooters. Hooters, the original American wing joint.
Bob Vila here with my home improvement tip of the day. Ceiling fans are great, except when they begin wobbling. What causes that, and how can you fix it? First, check for dirt on the blades. Yes, even a small buildup can cause wobble. Use a sponge and household cleaner to get off the grime. Wobbling could also mean one or more of the blades are warped or cracked. Replace if necessary. If the blades look okay, check to see if they're out of alignment. You can do that by using a yardstick to measure from the upper tip of each blade to the ceiling. If the distance varies, check for loose screws where the blades are attached to their metal housings. Also, those housings sometimes get slightly bent from overzealous cleaning or whatever, and need to be gently bent back to their original position. If none of that works, you'd best head to the home center and pick up a blade balancing kit. They're only a few bucks, and if they help you solve the problem, there's no doubt you'll consider that money well spent. Get more info at bobvila.com and right here at home with me, Bob Vila.
That we had in the past year, almost two.
Yeah.
You guys can go on Spotify, Apple Music, KCARadio.com. A lot of our shows are going to be uploaded on our website,
Yep.
KCAAwhateverworks.com, right?
Yes, sir.
And then don't forget to follow us on Instagram, KCAAwhateverworks.com. You guys are not going to forget this.
Yeah.
KCAAwhateverworks.com. We just came back from our 5-minute break. We're talking to our man Art here and his grandson, Caden.
Shout out.
Yeah, we all lived in Yucaipa basically our whole lives, you know.
Yeah.
Art for like 60 years, which is phenomenal. Caden, his whole life, right? And he's in 21. Hey, there we go. 21's a good year. And then, of course, Kyle and Ken, you guys been around
Since 1979, I moved out here.
1979. Yeah, and then I've been here my whole life as well. So we're just talking about how Ukaipa's change and the weather. You know, this weather's crazy. You know, I enjoyed the day of the snow for like 2 days. After that, I was like, all right, son, come on, kick in. You know, I love the springtime. So can't wait until that starts to pick up.
Yeah, I grew up in the snow, so I moved out and I never looked back. I don't like snow.
Yeah.
And when I was in the rehab, Kyle said it's snowing, Mentone. I said, well, get
You
rid
started
of.
sending me articles to buying houses.
Yeah, I said, start packing my bags. We're moving someplace.
Where would that place be?
You and I talked consistently about Prescott.
Yeah, Prescott, I think.
Prescott, Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah. Lower taxes. Buy me some land.
Okay, cool.
The average temperature is 72, even in the summer. It's
like 72 at night?
No.
At night it gets like 59, 50s.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, because I remember when I was living in Redlands, dude, I'm telling you, it was like 89 degrees, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Bro,
I remember that.
I'm sweating in my room. I was like, dude, I can't do this no more, you know? But then when you start going, when I go up to Ukaipa, when I lived in Redlands, I'll drive up Highway 38.
Yeah.
And I would have my hand out the window, and you can literally feel the temperature change by like 10 degrees.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I'm like, Ukaipa is really nice, you know? Yeah. Actually, they're making a lot of new houses here in Ukaipa. I know there's like 4 or 5 main construction sites for homes that are getting built. This last week, he was there yesterday, right? Yeah, at the Lafayette Mountain Gate community, Ascend Homes.
That's right. That's right off the Highway 38, right?
Yes, right off Highway 38, adjacent from Bryant Street.
Is that considered Ukaipa?
It is considered Ukaipa. Okay. Yeah, so it was pretty interesting. A lot of their homes, the one that they were showing was nice. It was a Crafton style house. Ferran's in the building. 8 o'clock show. Stay tuned, guys. Yeah, so this particular area has custom built homes, right? Now they transitioned to companies because the other one went bankrupt or whatever the case was. But the one that they were showing yesterday was a Crafton style house. It was going for $1.26 million. And when you walk in there, the thing I liked about that the most was the staircase was not the first thing you see when you walk in. You know, it was more towards the back of the house. You know, it was very open. It had like cathedral ceiling walls, just like super tall. It was really nice, and every window had a view of the mountains in every direction. And after this snowfall, man, those mountains just look amazing up there. Yeah, you know, there is this one particular house down the street from there that either belongs in the woods, kind of like Twilight movie type house. It was like contemporary home. It was like a nicer modern home, or a house that belongs in Palm Springs. Really? Yeah, like in my eyes, it did not belong in that spot. But I mean, it was a beautiful home. I was like, man, if they were showing this house, I'll probably like stay in like the closet until like, you know, everyone left, and then just like hang out there for a while. You know, it was a beautiful home. I had a really good time. A lot of people from past Pleasure Car Show was there. A lot of people that were listening to the radio were there. When I was talking on the radio, Marco called me. He's like, bro, I hear you on the radio. And I was like, well, shout out to Marco Gama, you know?
Yeah.
I had a blast. It was a good time. And then I did an open house over in Cherry Valley in a 55-plus community, which is cool because that community is across the street from the lavender farms. Have you guys been there? No. No, do you know what I'm talking about? So I think it's like September, and then in December, the lavender farms, they put up a bunch of like Christmas lights, and it's a whole like tourist attraction. And then they give you like, you have pizza and they have games there and stuff. But a lot of people go there, but it's so hard to find parking. And then, but that 55-plus community is right across the street from the lavender farm, and it's a gated community, but I got the gate code. So I'm working with a family. They're really nice, and hopefully we're gonna put an offer in on that house. They're selling their house in Moreno Valley right now, but if they do buy the home, which I hope they do, because it's a beautiful home, and they actually really like it, maybe when the lavender farm opens up again, I can be like, hey, can I just park in front of your house? You know, like let me park on the street so we don't have to pay or look for parking, because Lavender Home is a very special place to go. You guys should check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
They have like this big old willow tree. You know what a willow tree is?
Oh yeah.
And they string Christmas lights on each branch, so it's just like
That's crazy.
It's amazing. And the first time ever, I had fig pizza.
What is that?
You know figs? It's like that fruit.
I love figs.
Yeah, then you'll like the fig pizza.
Like as a topping?
Yes, yeah, dude. Honestly, it didn't sound that good, but then I ordered it because like they also had like just the regular pizzas, and I was like, I want to try something different, and it turned out pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah. And then they have like obviously like lavender like ice cream, lavender lotions, candles, and all that stuff, and people set up their little things. It's kind of like a market night when things like that. But then they have the farm, which is just all lavender, and they just light up the whole farm with lights. So a lot of people go there. It's pretty cool. They do it.
Heard of it.
Yeah, they do it like twice a year. It's over in Cherry Valley. So it's a place that you guys should go. So.
Oh, for sure. I'll check that out.
Yeah. What else have you guys done that you guys like? I want to do the cold plunge up in Big Bear. That's another thing that I want to do here.
Oh.
Bro, you don't know what that is? Okay, I'll tell you what it is. Yeah. So basically, I think it happened last week, but I don't think usually it's that time of year, but because of how much it snowed, I don't think they did it this year. But it's called a cold plunge because everyone goes up to Big Bear Lake and they jump in that cold, freezing water.
Oh, like polar bear swimming?
That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it is. They have that back east where I'm from in the wintertime.
Yeah.
People jump in the ocean. Like, no, not for me.
See, it's crazy because when I used to go cliff jumping over in the Narrows, bro, when I put my feet in the water, instantly my skin just like needles. Like it's just so cold, I'm freezing. And then I look over, my sister's just doggy paddling in the water. I'm like, how can you do that? The water's so cold. And like I know a lot of like women who can handle cold water more than me and my boys. You know what I mean? So, and I know this is a little off topic, but it's talking about like cold water and stuff. So they did this experiment where you had to put your hand inside like a ice water and see how long you can put your hand in there and leave it in there, but you can't cuss, right? So they had, I think, like 10 or 20 people, and they had them in there, and they're like, oh, it's like freezing, whatever. And then like they lasted, let's say, like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And then they did it again, but this time you're allowed to cuss. Dude, they almost double the time.
I bet, yeah.
And for whatever reason, like, it just helps them pull through,
The devil's work.
I guess so. But I just thought it was so interesting, when someone's trying to like stay like stoic, it's actually harder to like hold their emotions and keep that control rather than just expressing your feelings and just like saying whatever you want to say,
Yeah.
When I was younger, in my 20s, I was kind of a hothead, always mad at the world. Especially when I first got out of the service. I mean, I used to do barroom brawls, fighting for money.
What?
Yeah, that's why my hands are all.
That's the first I heard of this.
Yeah.
Nice, I like that.
Clean Eastwood stuff, So that's how I got
your rage out.
My rage out,
Interesting.
But when I got older, I had my kids,
You can't do that no more.
No, I said, no more cursing, no more fighting. I stopped drinking just about. I had beer once. I never kept any liquor in the house. I go out social like you guys until I hit my 30s, and I finally said, I don't like getting up feeling like this, so I'm just not going to drink anymore. I never smoked, but I got secondhand smoke from being around it. That's why I got COPD and the trach. Never really did drugs, So, in the service, you always do stuff. But, once my kids come around, everything was for my kids. Any extra money I got, I got them bikes. Didn't have to be Christmas or anything, a birthday. If I seen their bike was junk, I'd go out and have them go pick up.
You need a new bike.
Yeah, I says, you need a new bike. I'm sick of fixing this one.
Right, yeah.
So that's what my life was about with my kids. I probably would have still been married if I thought more of my wife. But see, it was strange. I remember my grandfather was not very. You couldn't hug him. You couldn't give him a kiss. Same thing with my grandmother. And then I remember this. I was like 4, 5 years old. I was in a one-piece
onesie. Yeah.
For going to bed.
Yeah.
And I went to give my dad a kiss. He goes, puts his hand out, goes, "You're too old for that." And about broke my heart.
Aww.
And I never forget that to this day. You know? But that's how he was raised, and that's how he raised us. So my whole family, we're not very touchy-feely kind of. I'm more than anybody else. I tell my brothers and I love them all the time, every time I talk to them. My older brother, he's just now saying it to me because I say it so much to him that now he's saying, "I love you, Ken." You know? But I wanted to break that. I didn't want my kids growing up like that. See, I still give my son Kyle here a kiss on the cheek. I still hug him.
Mm-hmm.
You know? If more people did that, the world would be better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm in line, I always say hi to the person in front and behind me. I always say hi to the cashier. Always.
Mm.
And if they say hi back, then I start joking with them.
You know? So you fell for it. Now it's over.
That's it. I got you railed in.
Yeah.
And most people nowadays give you that look like, why is that guy talking to me? Is he crazy?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And the world has just changed so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he's seen it in his 64 years. Right? You're 64? Over 71. I'm 64.
I thought you were as young as I was.
I thought you were young as I was. Yeah, I just turned 64 in October.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I think one of the craziest changes that I've seen, maybe not how I've seen, but that I've realized, like back in like the 50s and 60s, if you moved in, your neighbors came in, they greeted themselves.
Yep.
Now when someone moves in,
you don't know your neighbors.
You don't know your neighbors. And hey, I think we have a call coming in. You want to plug them in, see what's going on. But yeah, it's just it's crazy to think, and maybe it's because in the 50s and 60s, that home you're gonna be staying there, and now people are just in and out of homes, buying new homes, living somewhere else. You're listening to Whatever Works. May I ask who's speaking?
Hey, this is one of your listeners. I just wanted to say to the gentleman, Kenneth, that was sharing about the love that he has for people. I wanted to ask him, is that part of his experiences with his own life, health, and seeing the value of life now?
Not really. I just, like I said, with my family. My family was not touchy-feely family growing up, you know. I didn't hang around with my brothers and sisters, you know, at all. I mean, it was not good. So I just told myself, I'm not going to raise my kids that way, and I'm not going to be that way. You know, I hug anybody that wants a hug. You know, I hug these guys here. I mean, I hug the boss here. I hug everybody at church. I'm just a huggy-feely guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know for myself, being close to death, it made you realize how important life is. You know, changes my behavior. It changed my behavior a lot to see how the value of life and people. So I just wanted to find out if that was something that you saw.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. I was on borderline death many times, and I just don't like to be negative anymore.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, like my son Kyle, he lost my car keys. Am I going to freak out? No, it is what it is. I mean, sure, I get a little upset, but I'm not going to sit there scream and yell at him. You know, he didn't do it on purpose. So, you know, why get all upset over a set of car keys and have a stroke?
Right.
You know?
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Great show, gentlemen.
Hey, thank you for your time. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for being a listener.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people try to, like, when they start having kids and stuff, you know, they're like, I'm going to do this because my parents didn't do that. Or I'm going to do this because my parents do that, you know. But I think the biggest thing is, you know, to show your love to everybody and around you.
I noticed around me, my neighborhood has changed so much, like I was saying earlier off the air. I moved in that house in 1980, a bunch of old hippies, nice people, you know, that come over and greet you, bring your pie. And then through the years, we got these other bad people. Their kids became bad. And it ended up being really bad now because now the kids, they steal from their own parents. They talk back. They hit their own parents, you know, that I see in my neighborhood. It's really, really bad right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't go to church. They don't even know nothing about church. You know, I often take the little kids with me to church. I said, hey, you know, I said, you don't have to join the church. They don't have to join the church. Just let me take them, give you guys a break. You know, it's free childcare.
Yeah.
You know? I
Yeah.
call church free therapy. You know, instead of paying thousands of dollars for a head doctor, you go to church and talk to the bishop or any of the guys, and it makes me feel better. And then people talk to me when they have problems. And like today, a friend from church come over to check on me, and ended up being about him. He needed somebody to talk to. And he knows I don't say names. I don't tell anybody what he says. You know, it's just. So that's what life's about. If you can help each other, if somebody needs to talk, you know, listen, you know, and don't blab about it. You know, just listen to. That's what they're there for. They need somebody to listen to.
Right. Because if people don't feel heard or if they can't express themselves, it's a ticking time bomb.
Oh.
Right.
You know, like your emotions, especially like stress and like anger, the best way for me to explain it is like rust. You know, it's rusting your body, and eventually it's going to deteriorate you. Because when you're mad and you have anxiety, like it ruins you physically because you start, when you get mad, your adrenaline starts pumping. And what does that do? It creates high blood pressure. And what does high blood pressure do? It creates all this stuff. So it's not just an emotion, because emotion attaches to physicality, and it can be deadly. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I have people who love me that I'm a little chatterbox. Like once I get to know you and like you know me and I know you, I just you know, and so like it helps relieve my stress and like my emotions, because imagine being by yourself. You know, you're gonna make friends regardless, whether it's like a volleyball or like an animal or something. Like you need a companion. You know, and that's what it's all about. And you know, there's a lot of people out there that need to share their stories. And next week, hopefully, we have someone on our show who's going to have that. We have a couple people lined up. I'm actually excited for the next couple guests. Joe, that was our cue, I guess. We're closing the show up. So you guys are listening to Whatever Works. I'm Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And I'm Ken Carey.
Thanks, guys, for listening. Stay tuned next week, and stay tuned until 8 o'clock. We're past 8 o'clock. We got Farron coming on next. Thank you, guys. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Miss something today, yesterday, last week? Check out our podcasts at www.kcaaradio.com. We leave no listener behind.
This segment sponsored by the generous support of the Dream Team. Looking for the keys to something